Well, the sheriff in Richland County, South Carolina, Sheriff Leon Lott, on television now, just basically announcing that he's firing Deputy Ben Fields. Ben Fields is the guy that is referred to as Officer Slam, the cop who grabbed the teenage girl in her chair and flipped her over and dragged her out of it and all that kind of thing because she refused to leave the classroom. Very interesting. A couple of things that are worthy of note here and that I think are worthy of, frankly, discussion. First of all, Sheriff Leon Lott, the guy who is giving the press conference right now, and who's the boss of this deputy, has said some pretty impressive things. He has said, no matter what we find out about how that young woman behaved, how that girl behaved, it does not justify what this officer did. That's pretty startling. I mean, that's, coming out of a law enforcement officer, the head guy, that's a big one. This morning he said, we are very grateful to the people who videoed this on their cell phone cameras. Now, I didn't hear him address the fact that one of them got arrested and was being held on a $1,000 bond. We need to track that story down and see where that goes. But anyhow, he said, we're very grateful to this. And he said, we encourage, or I don't know if he used the word encourage, but something close to it. We're very pleased, whatever, when people film law enforcement officers doing their work. He said the vast majority of the time what that video shows is that we're doing our jobs and we're doing them well. And when we do our jobs poorly, it's good to know about. I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially that's what he said. And so he's firing the deputy, and I'd be willing to bet almost anything that the family has hired a lawyer, and this deputy or the school district's insurance company, somebody's insurance company, is going to be coughing up something on this thing. But an interesting thing, and I'm not sure that Sheriff Lott, Sheriff Leon Lott, the guy that I just spent three minutes praising, meant this the way it sounds. But Matt Ferner wrote a piece for the Huffington Post yesterday, and the headline, Sheriff pulls the ultimate, but he had a black friend defense of the Spring Valley High Deputy. When they asked him, this is apparently, this was during a news conference Tuesday, and a reporter said, is this a racial incident, basically? Did he go after this young woman because she's black? And this is what he said. He said, it's difficult to say if race was a factor. He said, I have some personal knowledge of Deputy Fields. He's been dating an African-American woman for quite some time now. So does that have a bearing on his thought process? It may have, but I would think that it would have it on a positive way, not in a negative way. So I don't know. There's been no indication of that being that the guy's a foaming at the mouth racist. He's never expressed that in the past. We've never seen that. It really doesn't matter to me if that child is purple. It's what his actions are, and that's what we're concerned about. Now, the fact of the matter is that this officer has been charged twice before with excessive force or variations on the same. But that's not where I want to go with this. What I found fascinating was a little farther in the article. Nowlie Rooks, who is a professor at Cornell University, wrote a story for Time magazine back 3 years ago about a study done the previous year in 2011 that found that white people who have close relationships to black people are more broadly not more or less likely to be, quote, afraid of crime. In other words, to have basically a racial-based fear. More broadly, Rooks explained, when scholars have studied the racial beliefs, feelings, and policy views of whites who have contact with blacks as friends, acquaintances, or neighbors, they consistently find that the negative racial perceptions of those whites are substantially similar to the perceptions of whites who have no black friends. Friendship with black people and even being a black person does nothing to change racial bias. Indeed, almost 1/3 of black people hold similarly negative views of the relationship between black people and crime. This is fascinating stuff. How do we get past all this? You know, given the history, given the and a certain level of even human nature. You know, people tend to hang out with people like them, whether it's that they speak the same language, they have the same body type, they're roughly the same age, they share a common background, they have the same income level, they have the same political beliefs, they have the same, they live in the same neighborhood. You know, whatever it may be, there is a, you know, deeply rooted in Americans or in human beings. This is not an American thing. Deeply rooted in human beings is this, and I think it comes out of the impulse to have family. Is this, or not an impulse to have family? It's a necessary survival prerogative to defend your family, and then that extends out to family, clan, tribe, and you know, who knows? I mean, maybe two things like race. And I'd say apparently. But I don't want to go too far down that road. I just there's something here that we're not talking about, or maybe we are, and we're just not talking about it right.